The 14-day blind spot. How an actuary used math to bankrupt a casino from a motel room. Hi, my name is Marcus. I am an actuary, which is basically a fancy term for a data scientist who calculates financial risks for insurance companies and betting houses. Spend my life staring at algorithms and predicting the future using pure math. Usually, it's a quiet, boring office job. But a few years ago, I used a single flaw in a mathematical formula to take down a multi-million-dollar digital casino and completely bankrupt them from a cheap motel room. It all started when I was hired by a major online betting corporation to audit their live sports betting algorithm. They were launching a massive new platform, and my job was to make sure the computer code didn't have any blind spots that users could exploit. Within 3 days of analyzing the code, I found a devastating bug. Because of a microsecond delay in how the algorithm scraped live sports data from the internet, there was a tiny 5-second window where the casino and betting odds didn't update fast enough after a team scored. If a professional gambler noticed this, they could place a guaranteed winning bet on an event that had literally already happened 5 seconds prior. I immediately brought the data to the executive boardroom. I thought they would thank me, give me a bonus, and patch the glitch. Instead, the chief operating officer looked at my report, laughed, and told me that fixing the code would delay their product launch by 3 months, costing them millions in marketing. He told me to bury the report. When I refused and argued that it was a massive liability, they fired me on the spot, forced me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and blacklisted me from the entire industry. Walking out of that corporate tower, my head was spinning. I felt a terrifying mix of betrayal and pure anger. They hadn't just taken my job. They had destroyed my entire career because I did my job too well. As I sat in my car in the parking lot, staring at my box of office belongings, the fear slowly turned into a cold, calculated urge for revenge. I realized they didn't just ignore my report, they left the vault doors completely wide open. And I was the only person on Earth who had the key. Instead of going home, I drove to the outskirts of the city and checked into a cheap, run-down motel under a fake name. I paid for 2 weeks in cash. I unpacked my laptop, plugged it into the sketchy motel Wi-Fi, and went to work. I couldn't just log into the casino website and place thousands of winning bets manually. Their security system would instantly flag my name, detect the pattern, and freeze my account. I had to be a ghost in the system. I spent the first 48 hours writing a custom Python counter-algorithm script. The script was designed to connect to multiple separate, anonymous proxy networks. Automatically created dozens of fake user accounts using digital prepaid debit cards. The core of my script was simple but lethal. It monitored live satellite feeds of international tennis matches and European football games. The moment a point or a goal was scored, my software instantly placed automated microbets on those exact outcomes on the casino's platform, capitalizing precisely within that unpatched 5-second lag window. On the third night, I hit the execute button. My laptop screen turned into a blur of scrolling green text. I didn't sleep for the next 10 days. The anxiety was suffocating. Every time a car door slammed outside my motel room, my chest tightened. I kept imagining corporate lawyers or the police kicking down my door. I was surviving entirely on cheap energy, drinks, and pure adrenaline. But on the digital screen, the plan was working flawlessly. The script was placing thousands of small, unnoticeable bets across dozens of accounts simultaneously. To the casino's automated security, it just looked like a random wave of lucky amateur Gamblers winning $50 here and $100 there. But combined, the math was completely draining them. By day 12, my network of accounts had quietly extracted over $3.2 million directly out of the casino's liquid cash reserves. On the 14th morning, I woke up and checked the financial news. The casino's platform had suddenly gone offline. A massive headline on a business blog read that the digital betting giant had suffered a liquidity crisis and was halting all operations because their automated payouts were tied directly to their bank reserves. They had literally run out of cash to pay their debts. Their stock price was plummeting. They were completely bankrupted. I calmly closed my laptop, packed it into my backpack, and checked out of the motel. Never transferred a single cent of that money into my real bank account. I left it, scattered across international digital accounts, completely untraceable. I didn't do it to get rich. I did it to prove a point. They thought they could protect their corporate greed by throwing me away like trash. But they forgot the most basic rule of the modern world. Never fight a man who understands the math that keeps your empire alive.